as a mom say, yes, it's our responsibility to regulate our kids. They can't do things on their own that way, even if it looks like they can sometimes. It's not really there. And so we need to be able to recognize our emotional state, where we are in any moment, what we're reacting to, because we are all always reacting to something. And whatever it is in the present moment, it's a reaction from our past, right? So we're not really reacting to the thing that's happening, but it's triggering something. It's moving something up that's like a core wound from our past, probably from our own childhood.
Welcome to Radiant Mom Rising. Get ready to be inspired, empowered, and uplifted. I'm your host, Mary Dibble, and in each episode, we dive into amazing stories, insights, and conversations that help moms like you chase your dreams and embrace your worth. Let's rise and shine together. Hey there, future podcasters. Have you been dreaming of starting your own podcast but keep hitting roadblocks with the technical side of things? I know the feeling. Figuring out equipment, editing, hosting, it can feel so overwhelming, right? But guess what? It doesn't have to be that way. I'm Mary Dibble, host of the Radiant Mom Rising podcast, and I want to help you get your voice out there without all the tech stress. I'm now offering exclusive one-on-one coaching for anyone ready to finally start their podcast. Together, we'll go step by step through everything from setting up your equipment to recording and editing your episodes to getting your show out there for the world to hear. I'll teach you all the secrets I've learned along the way so you can skip the frustration and focus on sharing your message. Here's the best part. I've got limited spots available and I'm offering a special for a short time only. So if you've been on the fence, now's your chance to make it happen. But that's not all. If you're not quite ready to dive into coaching yet, I've got a free gift for you. My Podcaster Starter Cheat Sheet. It's packed with the essentials you need to start your podcasting journey today. The links are in the show notes. Grab it while you can. Don't let tech hold you back any longer. Sign up now and let's get your podcast launched. Welcome back to Radiant Mom Rising. Before we dive into today's episode, I want to share something that could make a real difference for you. The Mom Biz Mastery course and community. If you're a mom who's dreaming of starting your own business or already trying to juggle it all, this is for you. I know how tough it can be balancing school runs, never-ending to-do lists, and squeezing in time for your passion. It's exhausting and it can feel like you're torn between your family and your dreams. But here's the good news. You don't have to do it alone. Mom Biz Mastery is designed to help you reclaim time for yourself and build a business that excites you without burning out. It's packed with practical strategies and tools made for your busy life. Whether you're still finding your path or ready to level up, this course is your go-to guide. Plus, you'll join a supportive community of moms who get it, offering real advice, coaching, and connections that fit into your life. If you're ready to make your dreams a reality, click the link in the show notes or reach out for a free consultation. Let's see if this is the right fit for you, because you deserve this, mama. Now, getting into today's episode, we're talking about something that can truly change your life: breathwork. As moms, we often hold on to stress, anxiety, and emotional overwhelm, all while trying to be present for our kids and families. But what if I told you there's a simple, natural way to release that stress, heal from within, and even help your children do the same? Our incredible guest today, Laure Moyer, is a breathwork facilitator who specializes in helping women use the power of their breath to transform their lives. In this episode, we'll explore the benefits of breathwork, how it can heal trauma, and easy techniques you can start practicing today to find more peace and balance. This conversation is packed with wisdom and practical tips. So take a deep breath, get comfortable, and let's dive in. Hey, Lauren, thank you so much for joining me on the show today. I have absolutely enjoyed our time together, getting to know you. You're incredible, and I am so excited to share your story with the listeners. So, why don't you start off by introducing yourself and your business and what you do?
Yeah, thank you so much, Mary. I also just have enjoyed so much getting to know you and chat with you. So I'm so happy to be here. So jumping right in, I founded my business called The Nurtured Self. last year, and I did that because I have been a clinical mental health therapist for about the last decade, and in that time have worked with a lot of women and some men, but mostly women, and have found through working with and working on myself, we'll be honest, like it's personal too, that we we need to really focus on nurturing. I guess that's kind of like the main foundation. And for me, nurturing really is it's self-care, it's self-love, it's how we show up for ourselves and how we let other people show up for us sometimes. And so my own journey as a therapist has, really, why do a lot of people become therapists? It's probably a lot of our own stuff first, and then it becomes this, let me work with other people. I'm going to help you through this. And as it turns out for me, and I'm sure other people can relate to this as well, but we sometimes think that we've healed ourselves, and maybe we have, we're not necessarily wrong. And there's a lot more always, right? It's a journey. It's not a destination. And so in my years of experience with other people, really, I to back myself up, like we're all mirrors for each other, right? So we learn a lot about ourselves through our interactions with other people. And I will say being a therapist has been such a blessing for me. And that's because I've gotten to see myself through other people, yes, but also in that reflection and then having my own personal practices of getting to know myself and really what we need to feel how we want to feel in this crazy, stressful world that
Yeah.
we live in.
And isn't it? Yes, it's a wild world we're living in for sure these days.
Um,
Yes, and tell us a little bit about your journey. Some of the things that you've gone through for yourself that led you to realize, okay, this is my path. This is what I need to do and how I need to help others.
yeah. I wanted to be a therapist, so I don't know if I really knew that I wanted to, actually, I'll say in the beginning. So going to college and deciding to study psychology, it was kind of because I really couldn't think of anything else that like spoke to me at all. I didn't really know what I was going to do with it, but it was very much a like I've always been an observer of people. So at first I somewhat thought I was more introverted, and maybe I am a little bit. Like I do value my alone and quiet time. I learned that in becoming a mom, how much I really did like that. But years ago when I was deciding to start on this path, it it was always fascinating to me, human behavior, personalities, like all just everything was always fascinating. Like I said, I've always been an observer, so I'm kind of the one at a party that's, not necessarily standing in a corner, but just
Yeah.
kind of watching everybody
Yeah.
and just being curious. So that started my path, just that curiosity of, hmm, like, what is happening? How are we all so different? How are we all so similar at the same
Right.
time?
Yeah. What makes us
Um,
tick?
Yeah, fascinating. It still blows my mind, honestly, to
All right.
know about how we function. It's crazy.
And there's still so much where everyone's learning. There's so much research always constantly going and all sorts of new things we're learning and trying and realizing about the body and the mind and the way it works and stuff. So it
Hmm.
is. It's quite incredible.
Yeah, it's like the paradox of learning and knowledge is that the more we learn and know, the more we know that we don't know. So
Yes, you hit the
it,
nail on that one.
yeah, it's a journey, all of it. But yeah, like that has been my foundation. And really, again, over my years of working with people, there's a lot of suffering in this world. And some of it we don't have a lot of control over. And some of it we do, in that, I will say there's a difference between pain and suffering. And we're all going to have pain. We're all going to have stress and negativity. That's just part of this life. But the suffering piece, like, do we have to suffer
Mm,
through the pain? Like, no, the answer is no. But do we often know how not to suffer through the pain? And, the answer to that is also no.
yeah.
That's one that we're not
Yeah.
all taught.
Yeah. Definitely not. Definitely not. I think like we all tend to sometimes, we create our own suffering a lot of times with
Hmm.
situations and things like that. So, yeah, tell us a little bit more about your experiences as a therapist and what you've seen as far as that goes with people and how they create that suffering for themselves.
Yeah. So what I've noticed and what I've worked with is so like you said, we kind of created ourselves, and in a way that's really hard for people to hear. So not a lot of people have a strong connection to their own agency, so their own control over what happens to them. So there's different mindsets that we can have. And I mean, if you've heard of like the fixed mindset or the growth mindset, that's those are two, I think, that capture a lot of variability on both sides of that. But really, when we're suffering, we're in that fixed mindset of this is all happening to me and there's nothing I can do about it, versus this growth mindset of this is happening and what can I do? Where's my power? What options do I have? And in that growth mindset, where there is pain still, there is still hardship, heartache. It's not all positive, right? There's no such thing as only positive, but we were able to, in that growth mindset, to process what's happening around us. We might not also be able to change it,
Yeah.
because again, there's things in this world that are happening. But when we have this idea, this belief that it's not happening to us, I don't really like the word victim mentality, but that somewhat describes it well. Of, this is happening around me and maybe it sucks and I don't like it, but is this where I want to be? Is this where I want to stay? Is this how I want to feel? Or do I want something else? And knowing that I have the agency, I have the power within myself to feel how I want to feel, regardless of what's going on around me.
Oh yeah. That's power. And that's what a lot of us are, working towards, like, making people more aware of and helping them through, because you're right. At the end of the day, we really have a lot more choice than we give ourselves, like, realize, and it's
Yeah.
important that you understand that, yeah, you do have the decision. You can make the choice. Like, who do I want to be? Like, how do I want to feel
Yeah.
compared to, okay, this is just the way it is. And I guess I'm just gonna have to dwell in it or stay in it, not me.
Yeah.
That's how I
Like,
feel.
no, thank you.
Yes,
Don't want to
exactly.
be here.
Yes, but you're right though. I mean, unfortunately, with so many people and the way they're brought up, the way they're taught, they actually don't realize this, that they have that power
Mhm.
and the ability to shift their lives in the way that they want to. So tell us a little bit about the time in your life where you got to that point for yourself, where you really understood and realized, oh, through seeing everything you were going through, that, oh my gosh, I can turn my life around.
Yeah. Oh gosh. There's been multiple
Multiple.
points.
Yes, I and there usually
Yeah.
are, aren't they?
Yeah, there
Yeah,
usually
just a
is.
pivotal. Hmm.
And the turning point for a lot of things is awareness, right? So like how aware am I that this is where I am? So we kind of have to look at how we get into survival mode. So personally, I will say just, the most recent for me has been in becoming a parent myself. And I've got two wonderful little children. And like, boy, is it is it a lot of work, right?
Yeah.
Mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, socially. Oh man, it's all it's all hard sometimes.
Yes.
So having the capacity, I guess, so in first becoming a mom and how everything changes so quickly and so intensely, there's this real force that can really just sweep us away, and it can be totally overwhelming, and we can feel like, how am I gonna survive this? Just because it's a whole bunch of changes at once.
Yeah.
So going through that personally and having this like recognition though, like, okay, it's not all stressful, and I don't want to be telling myself that it is, because like that's not fair also. So really getting quiet with myself and having this conversation. I love I love talking to myself and with myself, sometimes out loud, and it feels good sometimes to do that. But that, okay, I get to make this how I want to make it. I'm not ever gonna make it not stressful, but how do I want it to be? And, how do I want to parent? How do I want to feel in my life and about my life? What can I do about it? So like that's one of the more significant changes for me, and seasons. And seasonally in our lives we all go through shifts and transitions. I mean, some people say like every 7 years, like things really get disrupted and transition, and I think it's all great time to start a practice of reflection for ourselves, and to know, I think I will go back again to myself and like my family, and thinking about the women before me, and how, okay, it seems like every generation, like something has improved, like, and that's the goal.
Right.
Move forward a little bit, improve it a little bit for the next generation. And so recognizing that is really helpful too, that like, okay, it's not all the same as it has been. And yes, society changes, right? There's been a, a lot of shifts in society in the last like 100 years, of course. We are we are much farther ahead than my great grandmother, but in a way it's all the same, right? It's the same struggles, different context, maybe.
Oh, it is. And you're right. 'Cause that's why they say the whole be careful, understand your history, because if
Mhm.
not, you're doomed to repeat it. And it definitely is happening, like in its own way. But at the same time, if you really don't respect and understand and learn from that, you
Yeah.
are doomed to repeat it. Such is
Yeah.
life, But yeah, absolutely. It's so cool because I feel like to see the changes in my generation alone, like we got that time before, the internet and
Hmm.
technology even came, and just getting that alone, that kind of change, the before and between. I mean, I can imagine like where it's going with the technology. I just can only imagine what our kids are going to go. And so it's like it isn't so important to like really reflect on all of that and really reflect on yourself as you're going through life and your journey and understand things are going to change here and there. We're going to grow, we're going to evolve, we're going to improve. And our goal is to make it better for the next generation as best as we can, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, such a beautiful way to put that.
Hey there, aspiring entrepreneurs. Ready to turn your free time into a flourishing digital marketing business? Introducing LipoMax, your comprehensive all-in-one package for launching a successful venture. With LipoMax, you'll get access to over 200 in-depth, beginner-friendly training videos tailored to your needs. Plus, enjoy lifetime access with continuous course updates, weekly training calls, and ongoing community support. All without any monthly fees or extra charges. And the best part? You'll benefit from a high demand digital product, the course, expertly crafted and ready for immediate sale. Yes, that means you earn 100% profit on every sale. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to transform your free time into a profitable business. Join LipoMax today and watch your dreams take flight. Click on the link in the show note today to learn more. How old are your kids now?
Oh, I've got a 6-year-old and a one year old. He's about 16 months almost. So
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And you're right. Parenthood, oh my goodness, will that not change?
yeah.
That changes the whole scope of things.
Yeah, it changes everything. Really just like flips it on itself. And you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Like, oh, now it's like I have this little life that I'm responsible for. I got to take care of it. Everything changes. It's not always about you. But I think that this is something that I hope that we can work on as moms is that yes, it's not always about you, but at the same time, it really needs to be about you
Mm,
too. And that's becoming more and more important. And I think a great message out there because it is so easy to get lost in the sauce with everything that goes on with it. So
yeah.
what in your experience, what are some of the things that you have found that have helped you through that transition?
Yeah. Well, I love that. I mean, you already said it so wonderfully. Like, it's not about you, but like actually it is. So if we want to make it better, if we want to be better
Yeah.
and give our children, give the next generation a better chance, I guess, or a different opportunity. I guess I can't say it's going to be better. That's the hope.
Yeah.
But we do need to work on ourselves because from about 0 to 3, our children are pretty dependent on us for regulation. Like, and even beyond 3 a little bit, but definitely like the majority of the need is from 0 to 3, just from a neurological standpoint. They need us, and not just moms, right? Dads can do this too. Grandmas can do this too, aunts and uncles. But well, as a mom, say yes, it's our responsibility to regulate our kids. They can't do things on their own that way, even if it looks like they can sometimes. It's not really there. And so we need to be able to recognize our emotional state, where we are in any moment, what we're reacting to, because we are all always reacting to something. And whatever it is in the present moment, it's a reaction from our past, right? So we're not really reacting to the thing that's happening, but it's triggering something. It's moving something up that's like a core wound from our past, probably from our own childhood, depending on what you believe, maybe a past life, I don't know. But it's triggering something. And so we need to make it about us so we can help them through things. And in that case, it's a win-win, right? Because we were able to soothe ourselves, and in soothing ourselves, we energetically help soothe the kids. And this works actually, like, I'm just going to say, for people of all ages around us. Like, when your nervous system is regulated and balanced and calm, that's what other people are feeling too. And that is healing, just like without even trying to do anything. But just, we've all probably been around somebody, right? Where we're like, ugh, like, your energy is just like I don't enjoy it. It's on me, right? And we're like,
Mm-hmm.
whew.
Yep.
So we have that power as well, but if we're aware, we can regulate ourselves, and then we're vibrating at a different frequency, and other people are feeling that. So when our kids are having a tantrum and we're feeling that rise in agitation because we're like, I don't want you to be doing this. This is not comfortable for me. And I feel out of control, which is usually the trigger there. It's not just the tantrum, it's that, like, I'm not in control anymore.
Yeah.
When we are aware of that and we can go, okay, I'm reacting. I'm not feeling in control. So, like, how do I get myself back into my center of control so that I can just be with you, you little human, through this process and help you kind of
Mhm.
figure out how to start solving that? Just really soothing it. It's not really something to solve necessarily because we're all adults have tantrums too. We just don't always let it out. Some of us do a
Yeah. Oh,
lot.
yeah.
That can be just like that beautiful turning point where through caring for ourselves, through making it about us, right? We're never going to heal the next generation if we don't heal ourselves first. And that's not saying they're doomed, right? They can do the work too. But if we can start the work, we're just going to make it easier on them. They're going to be more emotionally stable. And again, that doesn't mean they're not going to get stressed or they're going to have no tantrums. They're going to have negative feelings. It's
Yeah.
normal human experience, but they're going to know how to deal with it
Yeah.
instead of just saying, nope, I don't want to, and suppressing it, or letting ourselves just be reactive and like scream through something. Because, I mean, again, we're all human, but
Yeah.
that's not helpful.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. I mean, I'm working on that with my kids all the time because I'm like,
Every
you,
day.
yeah, oh, it always is. You're right. And even with myself, I love that you brought that up as that it's more of a trigger on us, that we don't even realize sometimes that it's
Hmm.
like an emotional connector of something that has happened to us that literally, yeah, hits and we get back into that emotion and then we're reacting before we even mean to. And, I have people who talks about, I want to respond and not react, but
Hmm.
like you say, we're humans. It's it's not easy to always do until you build that awareness up, until you can
Yeah.
catch yourself. And there's times too where you'll react and you can kind of like, oh, I did it, but you know what? So what? It's okay.
Yeah.
Go back and just take those breaths and
Yeah.
calm yourself and just start over.
We don't
Kids,
have to be we don't have to be
yeah,
perfect. We
exactly.
can say I'm sorry and,
Mhm.
and work on
Oh,
it.
yeah. Because you know what you're teaching your kids there is responsibility. You're taking accountability, responsibility for not doing something right. And they see that. They're learning that too. And that's a great thing because they too are going to have those times where they are going to act out and do things. And you want to teach them to own that and be responsible about it instead of
Hmm.
being like, oh, but so and so did this to me. And that's why, it's like,
Yeah.
no, that's not, you still chose
Yeah.
to do that. Like, that's on you. Just like me, I chose to be this way and I'm going to apologize. I messed up. This is mommy showing you that, even adults make mistakes. It's okay. We just
Yeah.
need to make it right. And that's the important thing. So I
Yeah.
love that you do that. And, it's funny because I see with my daughter too, she's the emotional one. And she gets to the point where, she makes something small into something bigger. I'm sure you see that sometimes with your
Mm.
kids as well. And it's like just having to teach them the calming down, the breathing, the it's okay, let it pass, while also allowing them to let them know it's okay to feel what they feel.
Yeah.
How do you handle that with yours? Like as
Oh
far as,
gosh.
yeah, I know, right? It's not
Like, oh,
I know, right?
yeah, very gently with myself as much as I
Yes,
can.
can be.
Just to highlight a piece that
Mhm.
you said, like when kids say something like, well, so and so did this, right? Like that's such an important piece there because the tendency is to blame someone else for the way that we feel. And that feels better, right? Because then, like, now I can feel angry and I'm kind of justified in my anger and my behavior. And so I don't need to work on anything or correct anything because it's all someone else's fault. But it's not like other people, or going back to like our kids throwing tantrums, they're not doing it to upset us.
Yeah.
Like that's not their intention. And so to to know you're not doing this to me, right? I think that's always the first thing that goes through my mind. So my 6-year-old is pretty sensitive and really very emotional, and it is hard when you have an emotional sensitive kid, and I think most of us probably do, like, because that's kind of normal, but it's hard, it's triggering. So when whether it's your kid or someone around you that's an adult, like, starts to have a behavior that's got you percolating, it's got you a little bit agitated and like,
Mm,
like you're upsetting me,
yeah.
to really, like, when we can just stop ourselves and take a breath for just a moment and have that awareness. So, like, I'm reacting to something. Like, kind of a who in me is reacting
Yeah.
because it's from our past, right? It's like a younger part of you that something has happened to that developed
Mm,
a kind of protection, and like, this is threatening that part of me, so I'm reacting because it doesn't feel safe again, and it's my nervous system reacting. It's not my, like, higher self, and so when we can bring ourselves into that awareness, I keep taking deep breaths because, like, that's the quickest way, honestly, to shift our nervous system, is just to breathe slowly and deeply and recognize a part of me is reacting to a part of you. Like, okay, I get it. I see what's happening. I'm kind of stepped back a little bit so I can be more aware and just be observing. And then, yes, to say, you are not doing this to me. Even if somebody is yelling at you, saying mean things to you, which kids can do this too, right?
yeah.
They're not nice sometimes. But it's not personal. They are just reacting. So when we can see that, we can see that we're reacting, we can see that they're reacting, and there's this, like, what dance do I want to be in? Right? Do I want to be in this unconscious one where we're both just upset with each other because we're both having, we're both in our, like, 3-year-old self having a tantrum now, and we're not going to get anywhere. Somebody has to break that cycle.
Mhm.
And, again, I'll say, I'm not perfect at this. I am still trying every day to keep myself in that place or to get myself back to that place if I'm not regulated. That's why, like, the inspiration for the work that I do is because it's a daily practice with yourself. It's
Yeah.
the ritual we can have with ourselves so we can stay aware, so we can stay connected with ourselves, so we have less of these interactions that just feel like, ugh.
Absolutely. I love it. I think that's great. And there's some power to breathing. And do you do somatic work?
I do work with people on the somatic level, so I refer to what I do, like, mostly as, like, embodiment practices, and I do breath work with people because that is the quickest way to bypass all of the mental stories and chatter that we have going on that keep us stuck in these loops. Because, again, and this is, like, not a blame thing for ourselves,
Yeah.
the way we react, again, it's protection, where we're not doing it at a conscious level, so we want to bring it all to the conscious level so we can do something different. Our system is just trying to keep us safe, and when we feel unsafe, like, this natural human thing to get mad and to get big, right? And to get scary. Like, it just kind of feels safer. Not all of us react like that. Of course, like, some of us just, like, shut down and feel like, oh, like, this isn't safe for me. I need to just get quiet, right? So there's, like, fight, flight, freeze, and fawn is the new one. But our systems respond how our systems are going to respond. So we need to pay attention to that. But it's not often just the mindset work that's going to help. Like, we need to get into our bodies because that's where we react from, right? Like, when I'm talking about somebody's energy creating a feeling in you, that's not something we like know mentally. It's a feeling, right? We're like, I feel
Mhm.
heavy in my body. I feel tingly. Like,
Yes.
is it anxiety? What is this? Like,
Yes.
that's the level we have to learn to work with ourselves on. And it's so much quicker than the mindset. Like, our mind can
Mhm.
get us to places and it takes us far and it's wonderful. We still need our mind, but our body is able to send many more signals to our brain than our brain is able to actually send to our body. So if we can work with our body and take a deep breath or do a different practice that's going to give us that calm, give us that
Yeah.
regulation and balance, that sends a signal so much quicker to our brain that's like, oh, I'm okay. Versus like if we just go, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm like, eh, I'm
Yes.
not okay. Like I'm not feeling better.
You're right. Well, because they're all connected. It's all connected. And, that's what I love about bringing all of this to the table
Mm-hmm.
with my journey because I feel like you have those people who focus on the mindset or who focus on just the physical health, and it's like, but it's all important. Like you should be doing
Yeah.
physical activity. I mean, one of my favorite things about Tony Robbins is how, like in the beginning, and this is something I want to do with my stuff, is that dance party, like getting up and moving, just getting up and moving, just will help you literally get in that mental state to receive what you're about to
Yeah.
get. And I think that is so important. And I love these exercises, these techniques that people do to help. Because I recently, when I first was introduced to breath work, I'll never forget it because I actually thought I was going to pass out. I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize like how I don't really breathe like that. And
Yeah.
but I loved it at the same time. And what I loved about it is once I did it again, I didn't just freak out about it because I was a little dizzy the first time. I just learned, okay, like she says, you kind of got to go at your own pace with it, like listen to your body. And so
Mm-hmm.
when I kind of just jumped into it in the way I felt like I needed to do for me, but still doing the exercise and slowing it down to my pace, oh my goodness, it was so incredible of an experience. And then now I have this tool that at any time, if I feel myself starting to feel anxious or like whatever, I can just do those moves. And it
Mm-hmm.
regulates me and helps me to then think and put myself in a better place to make a better decisions, to approach things better. So I do believe in that. And I do love that kind of work to implement in our daily lives because it is all a daily thing. I don't care who you are. I mean, that's why the most successful people in this world have the morning and evening rituals because it's a daily lifestyle. It's a lifestyle that you can choose.
It is, yeah. And it's kind of like a diet, right? Like
Yeah.
diets don't work because it implies eventually we're going to go off the diet. And
Hmm.
then when you stop eating the way you've been eating, like if you've lost weight, you're going to gain it back because that's just how that works. So yeah, it is lifestyle changes. And when we cultivate a practice for ourselves, like yes, consistency is great and it just helps us be so much more present. And, can we be 100% present all of the time? Like, no, we
No.
can't.
Yeah.
Like, that's not realistic and that's not the goal.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, I can be more aware when I need to really bring myself back into presence
Yeah.
and not stay in this unconscious process of like, oh, I'm feeling all these things. And so I need to react to them because anxiety is normal, but when when our body sends signals to our brain that we're having anxiety or just I can just say stress, I think maybe more people can relate to the word stress. But when
Yeah.
when our body sends those signals to our mind like, "Hey, I'm stressed out," if we just go like, okay, I'm stressed out, I'm like,
Hmm.
well, that's it. Like, and I'm not letting myself come back to presence in my body. So I'm not doing anything with it. I'm just going for this ride that's uncomfortable and I don't like it, but I've told myself this is just how it's going to be. But when we can, like, when we've had these practices for ourselves of intentionally carving out time to get present, to get mindful, to be just be with
Yeah.
ourselves,
Yeah.
what's going to happen when we get into that unconscious spiral is like it's a muscle. So it's going to come in and we're going to pull ourselves back into presence because we can, because we've learned how to do that. We've taught ourselves how to do that. And, does that process take you like 3 weeks to learn, or does it take you 3 months to learn, or does it take you 3 years to learn? Like, I don't know, but how, how much we connect with it, if we start a practice and it's really hard and we really don't like it, like maybe we need to do something different.
Hmm.
But we need some kind of practice to bring ourselves back in. If you don't like the word meditation and that scares you, let's not call it meditation. Let's call it quiet time.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
let's call it whatever we need to call it to make it something that works for you,
Yeah.
because you need that time. You deserve that time. And, one thing I'll say that I think moms generally benefit from hearing is like, we're not filling our cups so that we are better parents. Like, that's a benefit, but we need to fill our cups. We deserve to fill our cups for us, right? Like, because
Exactly.
we're still human and we're still doing the best we can. And like, you deserve to feel good, mama. Like,
Yes, you do.
just because you're a human, like,
Yes.
not because you're a mom.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
yes, your family's going to benefit from you being more regulated, from you getting to have more space for joy and love. But like, you deserve that.
Yeah,
Like, you need that.
yeah. It's like understanding it. You're worthy. You're worthy of it. You're worthy of all that you want. You're deserving of it. And I mean, like you say, that is a very great benefit as far as how you show up with your kids, your spouses, everyone. But
Yeah,
especially for yourself, I mean, we just are so neglectful a lot of times, and we do so
right.
much for everyone, everything else, and it's like we got to get back to us, and it's definitely a message that you're going to hear over and over again, but it's important. That's why, and somebody needs to
Yeah.
hear it today, And one of the things too, I want to go back. Like I love how you brought up the diet analogy. That's the same I feel with money, and you
Mm,
don't have a good relationship with money as well, like it doesn't matter if you receive all the money in the world, your lifestyle's gonna just match, and you're just gonna keep being in that same place, struggling
yeah.
in the end. And so this is why like the routine we're talking about and the practices are so important, because you really do have to make the changes. You got to show up and you got to be that person that is successful in your eyes. Like who does that look like for you? What does that mean for you? And then take action towards that. But enjoy
Yeah.
the journey along the way, because it is a learning process, forever learning
Mm,
process. And that's
yeah.
okay. It's actually quite fun if you allow it to be. It definitely
Yeah.
can be fun.
It gets to be fun. And yeah, like, if
Mhm.
we're if we're struggling with it, again, get quiet and
Mhm.
ask yourself, why is this hard? What's making this so hard for me?
Yeah.
And, I love breath work because, like, I really feel like the breath is it's a tangible bridge from our mind to our body. And we need that
Yeah.
bridge because it's in our body where, when we heal these things, whether it's money or something else, if we can change the frequency in our body around a belief or a thought or a feeling,
Mhm.
we're going to change the reality. We're going to change the outcome. And I think, you had said the phrase like listening to my body. And that is
Yes.
so important because when you're if you're going to start a practice of like dancing, just joyful dancing to bring your energy up or maybe to let energy out, if if you are not listening to your body and just letting your body move,
Mhm.
then you're not allowing that full potential to come out. So similar in breath work, right? We don't know how to breathe. Like, we know how to breathe, obviously, we're all still alive, but we don't know how to use our breath, I'll say, for our benefit. We don't know how to use our body and the energy that's in there for our benefit. And so I love getting to work with people and teach them, or like even help just expand or maintain their own practice, because sometimes we do little things that feel good that we're not even really aware that we're
Yeah.
doing. But again, can we bring it into consciousness? Can we listen to our bodies every day? Like, if I sit all day at work, right?
Yeah.
And there's days when my back hurts or like my hips are tight, and I'm hearing that message from my body. But really, what my body is saying is like, get up, right?
Move.
Move for a second.
Yes.
And we just get so wrapped up in this, like, oh, well, I'm uncomfortable. And that's it. Like, oh, it's because I sit all day. Okay, do I have to stay sitting all day? Can I get up and do something? So,
Yes. Oh, yeah.
really taking the time to listen
Hmm.
to our bodies and to determine, like, what do I need in this moment? Do I need to move? Do I need to breathe? Do I need to scream or yawn or so? Like, what do I need to do to just move the energy that I'm feeling that I'm not liking? You know,
Mm.
I
Yes.
must say it a lot at home, because my 6-year-old daughter, all the time, she said, when I think she knows how to get me. She's like, my body is saying that's not what I want right now.
Sorry.
I'm like, oh, okay. Like, just this morning, I think my body's telling me that I shouldn't go to school today.
Oh my God.
Like, okay.
Oh, wow. Yes, they start young and this testing the waters and
Yeah.
seeing what they can and cannot, and they love to twist your words around, don't they?
Oh, yeah. And I'm like, oh,
But
your body doesn't want to go to school.
oh, yeah, because
Okay.
with my daughter, that's so funny because she'll do the same thing because I'm always getting on her about sweets. Like, she doesn't need that. Like, it's not good to eat
Hmm.
all the time. I mean, once in a while is a treat. I understand that. And so she has, like, she'll come to me if I finally give in because I'm not a big sweets person, but sometimes I'll eat one and she'll be like, Mommy, sweets are not good. You need to eat your vegetables. And it's just
Yeah.
so I love to twist everything. But it's like, oh, it's okay when they do it. But yeah, oh my
Yeah.
goodness. They
Oh, I
are.
see you're eating a cookie. Have you
Okay.
had dinner yet? Like,
Yes. They love
yeah.
to call
No,
you out, don't they? No, but
they
or yeah.
certainly do. They're
Oh,
smart for
they're
sure.
very smart. They're sponges too. Like that's why, like, oh man, it's another part of why it's so important to be mindful as a mom because you got
Hmm.
to be careful what you say and you are the example. They are watching you whether you think they are or not, and they
Oh, yeah.
definitely love to watch you when you think they're not watching you. And they like
Yeah.
to tune in,
They
you know?
somehow know everything. You're like,
Yes. I know, and yet I have to call you 3 times to get your
yeah.
attention when I need you to do something. But no, no, now you heard
Yeah.
that conversation, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I
And then
have
and then we get to go, oh, I'm reacting to that. What do I need to do? Because that makes
Yeah.
me a little frustrated.
Right. Oh, I love this. Yes, and this is what is so cool about learning these techniques and going out there and working on ourselves because it does make this whole process of motherhood, of life, just so much better. So like, easy, laid back. Then I know I just feel like for me, I just love who I've become because of this.
Hmm.
Because I had to come to a point where it's like I know I am who I was, but it's like, who do I want to be, Mary? Like, who do you want Mary
Yeah.
Dibble to be? I remember just being like, who do I want to be? Because I don't have to be confined to what I've done or who I've become because of the results from my past. Like, I made my mistakes. I did my things back in the day. I had my failures, but I don't have to let that define who I am. I don't have to make that my identity. Like, who do
Yeah.
I want to be? And that was one of those initial decisions that led me down the path of exploring things and got me to where I am today. And I love it
Yeah.
because it's helped me to grow into who I know I was always meant to be and who I choose to be every day. And that is so cool. Instead of just, feeling like I'm victim, like you say, then that kind of like I am, because I am the result of my upbringing and everything. So, oh
Yeah.
well, oh well.
Yeah. So I guess that's just how I
Yeah, I guess I'm
am,
just gonna
who I am.
suffer and blah blah blah. No, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah. And how beautiful when we get to that point where we
Yeah.
get to say, like, oh, I have a choice. I have the power to be not only
Hmm.
like who I want to be, but how I want to be.
Yes.
I can just feel the way I want to feel. Like, I don't have to wait for these conditions to be met. Like, that little voice in my head
Yes.
is saying, well, if this, then you get to be happy.
Yes.
If
Oh my God.
this, then you get to take
Yes.
care of yourself. Like, no, 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 no,
No.
no. Like, we need to work backwards. We need that
Yes.
feeling now. We need this, if I need to take a bubble bath every night because I'm like, this is my time. Like, I'm going to take that time now instead of saying, I don't have time yet, right? When my kids are older, I'll do this. No,
Oh,
I'm going to do this
yes.
now because I deserve it. And if
Yes.
it's going to make me feel, if it's going to help me to bring in a feeling that I want to feel, then why do I need to wait for that?
Exactly. And all you're doing too by doing that is you're attracting more and more of that outcome for your life
Yeah.
now. That's what you're doing by doing things like that. The small little steps are so much bigger than you realize. They're
Yeah.
so much bigger. So no matter how busy you think you are or how chaotic things are going, just know that there's always something now that you can do just to get
Yeah.
you a little bit further towards, because like one step towards it, and you're going to
Yeah.
tract it. You're going to tract it sooner than you think, sooner than you think. And yeah, this has been so much fun. I love it. And Lauren, I want you to let us know, for anyone listening who would be interested in learning more about breath work and somatic work and the work that you do, where could they find you?
Yeah, so I do have a website. It's nurturedself.org. I have some ways to work with me on there, whether it's more of that embodiment coaching or breath work. And on my website, or I can also give you the link too, I have a free little document you can grab, and it's just seven quick ways to reset your nervous system. Just give it a couple of minutes of practice, and any one of those things or any combination of them are going to help, like that washed over sense of calm. So yeah, I would invite anybody to reach out with any questions or grab that helpful little document if you want it.
Oh yeah,
I
that's a fair powerful.
I would say I'm also on Instagram.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't do a lot of social media posting, but it's the_nurtured_self. So I'm on there too if anybody wants to connect. I do love hearing from people. So,
That is awesome. No, Laura, I can't thank you enough for being part of this show. This has been great. And do you have any final thoughts or advice that you would love to give out there to moms listening?
mm, I have so much that I want to share, but as we said earlier, just to know you're worth it. Like, you are perfect just the way you are, and with all of your imperfections, and you deserve that shift, whatever shift it is that you want. You deserve it, and you can get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree. And again, thank you so much for being part of my show.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Mary.
Here are the key takeaways from today's episode. Like many others, you may believe you've worked through your personal struggles, but healing is a lifelong journey. Just because you've made progress doesn't mean the work is done. Through your interactions with others, you can gain insights into your own emotions, triggers, and behaviors. By being mindful of this, you can grow and improve your relationships. You have more power over your feelings than you think. Often we experience pain and stress, but suffering is optional. You can choose how to process difficult emotions and avoid creating unnecessary suffering by cultivating a growth mindset. Instead of feeling like life is happening to you, Recognize that you have agency and control over how you respond to circumstances. This mindset can help you feel more empowered, even in difficult situations. When you take care of your emotional well-being, it positively affects your family, especially your children. They depend on you to regulate their emotions, so your calm energy can help them feel secure and grounded. Awareness is key to managing stress. Becoming aware of your triggers and emotional responses allows you to handle stress and challenges with more grace. You don't have to react immediately. Pause, reflect, and choose your response consciously. Working on your emotional health, you're not only improving your own life, but also setting the stage for a healthier emotional future for your children. This is your opportunity to pass on emotional intelligence and resilience. Embrace the ups and downs of parenting. Parenting is a constant learning experience. It's okay to make mistakes and learn from them. What matters is how you model responsibility, resilience, and self-compassion for your children. When your kids are having emotional outbursts, remember that they are not intentionally trying to upset you. By staying calm and centered, you can help them navigate their feelings and teach them healthy ways to process emotions. Be sure to check out Lauren's website and grab her free document on 7 quick ways to reset your nervous system. Links are in the show notes. We would greatly appreciate it if you would share this episode with someone you know who could benefit from tuning in, as well as leave us a 5-star rating and let us know what takeaway did you get from listening. If you need any support on your journey as a life coach, I'm here to help you. Visit me at marydibblecoaching.com to learn more. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Until next time, much love.